Computer. Hello, my name is Linda Cifelli, and I'm here today with my colleague Craig Anderson. We are librarians at Keene University in New Jersey, where we work in the Nancy Thompson Learning Commons. Our Learning Commons houses library and research support services, along with writing services, tutoring, and a public speaking lab. Keene University is the third largest of New Jersey's public universities. Since its founding in 1855 as the Newark Normal School, the focus has evolved from teacher education to comprehensive education to a university with a growing number of doctoral programs. Along with this evolution has come a growing focus on faculty and student research, especially as the university is now pursuing R2 Carnegie Classification for high research activity. Kean students working in a wide range of academic disciplines are heavily involved with research and have also co-authored, often with their faculty research mentors, a number of articles published in a variety of peer-reviewed journals. For the most part, Kean faculty have been guiding their students through the submission process for outside journals, but the Learning Commons provides the usual support options from librarians in helping students search for, access, and evaluate information sources for their literature reviews, and from writing specialists in providing students with feedback on their article drafts. In spring 2019, the university moved into the publishing realm with the launch of its first issue of Kane Quest, a student journal featuring research and creative works by Kane students and recent graduates. Kane Quest is produced twice a year by an editorial team from the Learning Commons. Beginning in 2020, the Learning Commons began using the Digital Commons platform to house CaneQuest as well as other digital collections. As it turns out, this platform will present even more opportunities for our students to publish OER content, and Craig will talk about this in a little bit. Part of the tagline for CaneQuest is research is not complete until it is peer-reviewed and presented to an audience, and we've been trying to work with faculty in helping students understand this concept and the opportunities it offers them, whether they publish in CaneQuest, in another area of the Cane Digital Learning Commons platform, or in a journal not affiliated with our university. The Learning Commons has, in recent semesters, focused on developing and implementing an integrated set of strategies through which the library and other Learning Commons units may nurture publishing by undergraduate and graduate students. So we are trying to create a system that we hope will sustain and grow student publishing output. Now, I will speak for a few moments about our outreach approaches, while Craig will focus on our support approaches. As noted by Johnson, Putnam Davis, and Bandy, it can be difficult to maintain a steady number of article submissions for a student journal. Many students may decide that the time required of them is not feasible, especially since the time they would need to spend on writing and revising would not typically be rewarded with course credit or grades. We need to help our students understand why writing an article and going through the journal submission process is worth their while. So our outreach efforts have focused on helping students understand the incentives connected to publishing their work. We try to help students see that publishing their work can be valuable for their own professional development, laying a foundation for the type of writing that they would do in graduate school, including the type of writing that they would do while applying for grant funding. Publishing an article provides a student with clear evidence of the writing, communication, critical thinking, and information literacy skills that are hardly prized by potential employers. Weiner and Watkinson found that not only did students who participated in the scholarly publishing process via a student journal demonstrate gains related to information literacy skills, but they also reported having benefited from experiences that support their career and academic goals. Students may gain a better sense of the possibilities, where their research and writing can take them in the future. While doing so, they are also taking steps into the world of scholarly communication, creating opportunities for themselves to connect with like-minded scholars from around the world, and creating possibilities for future collaborations that may open up new and exciting doors for years to come. Our outreach efforts at Keene University have involved highlighting these incentives via a number of strategies, including the personal touch, direct outreach by email or elevator pitches to student researchers, as well as faculty research mentors. And these efforts have included efforts by KeenQuest editorial team members to invite students who present at the university's annual research days to write and submit articles to the KeenQuest Journal. We've also focused on making announcements and posting content in the Learning Commons own non-credit bearing Blackboard course, which is essentially an information literacy module that is available to all Kean students and all faculty members through their own Blackboard accounts. We also have an embedded librarian charged with reaching out via information packets and other means to units directly involved with student research, including the Graduate College, the School of General Studies, which offers a GE course called Research Initiatives in the first year, the Center for Undergraduate Research and Fellowships, which supports faculty-mentored research through programs like Freshman Research Initiative and Research Recruits, and we also have various research programs supported through the university's specific colleges, including the Research First initiative for STEM students. We also have librarians and other Learning Commons colleagues who offer numerous online workshops on topics related to information literacy, writing skills, and various other topics relevant for student writers. These workshops are advertised via CougarLink, our Campus Labs student engagement platform. Now, I'm going to turn the mic over to my colleague Craig, who will talk a little bit about our outreach, or I'm sorry, about our support strategies.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, so since 2018, Kean University has been encouraging students and faculty alike to make greater use of the open educational resources available to them, as well as to publish their own OER materials. An OER task force was created by our Director of Digital Information Services, Mohammed Hassan, similar in scope and function to the OER task force created by Emporia State University in Kansas, among others. And this information comes from Sutton in 2020. But our group comprises a faculty task force and a student task force, both of which are responsible for reaching out to their peers and colleagues to encourage the use and development of open educational resources. The primary objectives of these groups are not only focused on the accumulation of OER materials to support the curriculum, but also of motivating members of the university community to create and develop their own open educational resources. In this capacity, the faculty and students of the OER task forces have been exploring the benefits and limitations of open access and Creative Commons licensing in order to demonstrate the ways in which authors and creators can share their work with others while still maintaining the rights and recognition of authorship. For some members of the university community, this trade-off is not worth the price of admission. Some faculty members would rather publish their research and course materials under a more traditional closed publishing system. And that model is not going away. But for many others, open educational resources provide a greater ease of access and collaboration on a scholarly level. The use of open access resources also eliminates much of the gatekeeping that pervades higher education and allows for more egalitarian sharing of academic research. This use of OER materials supports a social justice model of pedagogy and allows a greater ease of access to students from many diverse backgrounds. In a more traditional model of higher education coursework, professors assign textbooks or workbooks at a great cost to the students. We all know how textbook publishers will assign high markup to the price of any text that they expect to sell to colleges and universities. But an open access model allows access to scholarly materials to students all along the income spectrum. Students growing up in poor neighborhoods or living under the poverty line are not exempt from access to OER materials, and the library or Learning Commons can be that particular student's gateway to access these resources. In early 2021, Kean University was host to an international OER conference to promote the adoption of these resources across the university curriculum. The OER conference enabled us to hear from colleagues across the country to learn their stories about the implementation of OER at their own institutions and to endeavor to implement their best practices here at Kane. Our students also benefited from attending this conference, which gave them the opportunity to learn about the advantages of being able to publish their work in an open access format. Perhaps the greatest support that we've had for student and faculty publishing efforts has been Kane University President Repillet's program for the university to achieve R2 Carnegie Research status. This has been the goal of the current administration since Dr. Repillet took office nearly a year ago. This new goal has allowed the university community greater access to funding and interdisciplinary connections in pursuit of this R2 status. Faculty and students alike have been encouraged to work together and to share the collective research goals of the university community. Programs such as those mentioned previously by Linda have served to cultivate an environment of shared research and exploration. To this end, the Learning Commons has been on the front lines of promoting access to research materials, as well as assisting in discovering grant funding and publishing opportunities for faculty and students alike. This not only supports the university's research goals, but it also allows the students greater opportunities to share in the success of their own educational institution, which perpetuates Kane University's advancement and progression. So now we're going to bring Linda back we're going to wrap this all up. So, okay.
So thank you, Craig. In conclusion, Keene University's Learning Commons will strive to implement new strategies for outreach and support. We know that there's a lot of work that needs to be done, and we look forward to implementing some new strategies in the coming months, including online meetings and workshops that focus specifically on student publishing, hopefully featuring published student authors as guest speakers. We hope to create, or your plans to create, a new LibGuide that features specifically student publishing and helps connect students with the Learning Commons resources and services that will help them in their writing and publishing efforts. We are also planning to revise and/or add new content to our existing Learning Commons Blackboard course in an effort to provide easily accessible support for budding student authors. And last but not least, we will continue to work with the OER task forces to produce our own body of open access literature, authored not just by Keene faculty, but also by Keene students. So thank you for viewing our presentation today. We look forward to answering your questions and speaking with you about your experiences with student publishing during the open Q&A session.
Okay. Okay, so lastly, this is our page of references. These are just some of the references that we used throughout our presentation, both from Linda and I. We did have a much longer list that I guess we could make accessible. And
of more like additional readings.
More like additional readings, yeah, that's what I meant. And then lastly, if you need to contact us, please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any questions or suggestions, comments, anything like that. This is where probably the easiest way to contact us. So, so other than that, thank you all for attending, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, Craig.